في خلق الله محمد وآله الطاهرين اللهم صل على محمد. تقبل الله أعمالنا وأعمالكم. May Allah accept your fasting, your deeds. And this is my last night here. So I thought I would like to just do a recap of what we've been speaking about for the last 12 nights, and not use a technology, but go back the traditional way and just speaking about what I think is very, very important. Majority of you have been attending every night, and therefore you know the topics that have been discussed, and the theme was alaykum salam, and the theme was moral values and vices. What are the things that we need to work on as human beings that would make us better people? And we covered a variety of different topics that were useful, inshallah, and pointing out particularly on the practical ways of how we are able to build ourselves and understand the greater purpose of our lives as Muslims here on this earth. Of course, all of us somehow need a reminder. All of us need to be reminded, not only once, not only 5 times, not only 50 times, but every single opportunity there is. فَذَكِّرْ إِن نَفَعَتِ الذِّكْرَى. We have to always try to remind ourselves and remind people who are around us of our duty and our responsibility. It's very easy to get lost in this world. It's very easy to lose concentration. There are many distractions that are around us that won't really help us in the right way, and therefore you're always going to see people who fall off the track. In the 17 wajib rak'ahs that we do every day, a minimum of 10 of them, if we only stick to the wajib prayers of our 5 daily salah, we repeat al-Fatiha a minimum of 10 times per day. And in each of these times, we say, Ihdinas siratal mustaqim. It doesn't mean guide us onto the right path. It means keep us. Yani another meaning is keep us guided on the right path. Because we're all vulnerable. We all have some kind of challenge that we need to go through, which means that there's always ahsantum hajj, jazakallah khair, which means that there's always going to be a case of, because I was just about to do some verbal abusing of you, Radha, but alhamdulillah he took it. There's always going to be a case of us falling back. Could be due to a loss of interest, could be due to mixing with the wrong people. It could be due to some kind of struggle that a person is going through in his or her life, and therefore, you know, they fall behind on their wajibat. And there are many temptations around us as well that are very distracting. We live in a secular society, and religion is very personal. Religion has become personalized, which means it's not really that accommodating our society is not really that accommodating when it comes to someone who wants to strictly abide by their religion. Whether you be a Muslim or a Christian or a Jew, doesn't matter. The overall secular kind of world is saying religion is your personal affair. It's for you to keep at home. Don't bring it out onto the streets. And most certainly don't bring it to school or to work. And of course, that makes it really, really difficult for a lot of us because everyone else is engaging in that. Majority of people find that interesting because a religious person is confined to doing certain things, and the tab', the nature of a human being, is wanting comfort, looking for comfort, looking for relaxation, looking for things that will soothe them and calm them, not things that you will have to do going out of your way for these kind of actions. That's not the nature of the human being. كلا إن الإنسان ليطغى أن رآه استغنى. يعني the insan gains a level of tyranny, becomes tyrannical once they have this sense of istiqlal, once they have this sense of freedom. Istighna here, an ra'ahu istaghna means, istighna means I am in no need. From the word ghani, I'm no need, I'm needless, I don't need anything. What does the Quran say? Does the Quran not say that antumul fuqara'u ila Allah? You are the poor and Allah is the ghani, right? And so therefore, us as human beings, when we look at ourselves, we are more inclined to comfort. We are more inclined to our own raha, our own comfort. And therefore, taklif becomes a strenuous thing for us that we try somehow to get away with. Which is exactly why majority of people, majority of people limit themselves to the bare minimum of wajibat and muharramat. They don't go anything further than that. Yani they find certain things to be way, way too difficult, like having to read ingredients on juices and ice creams when you're in Woolies. That's like way, way overboard. Why? Because their overall kind of approach is I'm sticking to the bare minimum. I pray, I fast, that's pretty much it. I'm not the kind of person who is thinking of Hajj, not now, not until I'm about 50, 60 years old. I've never paid zakat in my life. I don't even know what khums means. And all of the other things as far as wajibat. As far as muharramat is concerned, the only thing that I really think is really, really bad and haram is alcohol. Everything else, is kind of like less than that. And unfortunately, if you really look around, you'll see that a lot of people are like that. A lot of people just stick to the bare minimum, which is exactly why they are depriving themselves of the beauty and sweetness and halawa and pleasure of iman, of faith. You're not going to be able to enjoy your wedding day if you're going to be the groom but wearing your tradie clothes. and your hands are all full of grease and you stink because of the sweat and arag of your work, what kind of damad is that? Not only would everyone else, especially the Arus Khanum, be upset with, but you're kind of like being very arrogantly rude and disrespectful to everyone else. Talking about smelling. See, I told you. Was that you or Fatima? Both of you? See, Maliki, your sisters, they're troublemakers, these girls, man. I've mentioned this when I spoke about Islamic hygiene and how our religion is emphasizing so much on outer appearance and us always having to try to be elegant, be presentable in our clothes. How Rasulullah sallallahu alayhi wa alihi would always be brushing his hair. He would even look into the reflection of himself in water and comb his hair accordingly. How mustahab it is between salah and after salah to comb your hair and your beard, and how bad it is to be what do they call it? Scrubby? Well, I've never heard of the word scrubby before. Isn't scrubby when you scrub yourself? Ash'ath. Scruffy. Scrubby? I don't know. It's millennial generation words. So, someone who doesn't care about themselves. Please tell me, how many times have you sat or stood next to someone you need one of those $400 oxygen masks because of how bad they stink? If you've been to masjids, if you've been to some masjids, I'm not going to mention where, but it was where I was for a long time, you can't even do sujood because of how the carpet stinks so much from socks. It's very bad. How much does Islam stress on siwak, on cleaning your teeth, on oral hygiene, on making sure that you remove extra hair from your body, especially your underarms, and other places, and how it is the nesting place for shaitan, how that's where they party if you don't get rid of it. And how your ibadah and your prayer is multiplied just by you spraying on a little bit of perfume. I always say to people, wherever you go, have an underarm antiperspirant deodorant or spray or stick or whatever they call it available. When you feel that you have a little bit of odor, use it. Don't allow yourself to make other people feel repulsed by your smell. This is a side note, by the way, but I have to mention it because this is really, really important. The hadith says that people would know that the Holy Prophet ﷺ walked past a certain alley or a certain road, a certain street, even 3 days after he had gone past that by the scent of that place. That's how important. And there's no israf. They say there's no wasting or extravagance when it comes to perfume. A while ago, I found out that there was a bottle of perfume that cost $35,000. I don't know what that's made of, but crushed diamond or something maybe. It's very important, my brothers and sisters, to take care of your presentation and make sure that you always smell nice. There is many hadiths that say that if you are going to go to the masjid, don't eat garlic and don't eat شنو بصل. What's بصل يا Ibrahim? Onion. Was that what you were going to say? Good. Don't eat garlic and don't eat onion, because you're going to say غير المغضوب غير مغضوب, and it's going to go everywhere, all the people around you. Be very careful. Smell nice. Have perfume in your pocket, especially before salah, especially when you're interacting with other people. I mention this because unfortunately, you know, it's a big issue, especially with boys, especially with growing boys. You know, you're hitting into puberty. You need to make sure that you are careful of these things. The point that I was trying to make, someone remind me what I was trying to say before I jumped into the topic of hygiene. Anyone knows? Distractions. Making sure that you are always alert and aware of the greater purpose of your life. We don't believe in living a hedonistic life. Hedonism basically means that you pursue your lust, that your objective in life is getting what you want. Taklif is absolutely the opposite. Taklif means that you obey God's command as strenuous as it may be, because it comes from the word kulfa, takalluf, which means uncomfortable maybe. It means strenuous. Because for you as a believer, there's no comfort and there's no raha except in your grave. That's another tattoo that you should have on your back. What was the other tattoo that I mentioned yesterday? What was it? What was it? Check Ruva's back. Right? Comfort. This world is not for comfort. The hadith says, Al-dunya sijnul mu'min. This dunya is the jail of a believer. So when you're working for your akhirah, that's what's going to make you relaxed and serene. You are going to have difficulties like everyone else, but you're always on the go. You're always pursuing your ambition of getting better and better and better in what it is that you are. And that's why the ayah in the Quran, it says, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ. And as for he who fears the status, the rank, the station of his Lord, وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى. And keeps his nafs away, prohibits his nafs from being inclined towards lust and desire, فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. Heaven will be their eternal abode. وَأَمَّا مَنْ خَافَ مَقَامَ رَبِّهِ وَنَهَى النَّفْسَ عَنِ الْهَوَى فَإِنَّ الْجَنَّةَ هِيَ الْمَأْوَى. This nahyun nafs, because your nafs that you have, your inner self that you have, is always going to be inclined towards wanting comfort, wanting more food, money, lust, all of these things. Your nafs is inclined towards that. This is exactly why the ayah says, وَنَفْسٍ وَمَا سَوَّاهَا فَأَلْهَمَهَا فُجُورَهَا وَتَقْوَاهَا قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. This nafs that you have, it's either inclined towards good, لا بأس. أحسنتم. الله يسلمكم مأجورين إن شاء الله. أحسنتم. نفس وما سواها. This nafs of yours inclined towards bad. You're early today. Inclined towards bad and also inclined towards good. قَدْ أَفْلَحَ مَنْ زَكَّاهَا. This nafs of yours, if you purify it, wearing black again, if you purify it, you will be victorious. You will be saved. Yeah, no, don't worry, you can walk in. We all know that you're wearing blacks. Doesn't matter, you can walk in. Now this is exempted, Sayyid. Abaya is exempted. Oh, okay. Tommy Hilfiger Abaya. You will have victory if you cleanse it, if you purify it, if you discipline it. That's why there's this guy, what's his name? Brahim, what's that guy's name? The Iceman, what's his name? What's that guy that jumps in the water? What's his name? What'd you say? Iceman? What's his name? Nah, man. No, that guy that jumps in ice and does breathing exercises and that. Huh? Yeah, what's his name? I know. Don't give me a description. What's his name? Huh? Wim Hof? What? Who said Houdini? It's like Shubhat al-Qahwa alayk, Houdini. Where'd you get Houdini from? Yeah, that guy. So there's this guy. Huh? He's fake. It's not very nice to say. He says that he's never been to no hospital, he's never had a vaccination, he's never been sick, he's never this, he's never that, and everything's about breathing exercises, and everything is about jumping in freezing cold water and staying there for a long period of time and whatnot. That's not the point. I'm not asking you to jump into freezing water, even though that's a good thing, apparently. But it's all about self-discipline. There are a lot of people who are not Muslim, but they have strong self-restraint and strong self-discipline. I know a lot of non-Muslims who have never touched alcohol, even though Shar'an, it's okay for them, right? But they just don't. They say, that's not an avenue that we want to go through. Self-restraint, self-discipline. That's really, really important. Especially now in Ramadan, the whole purpose of you fasting and refraining from all of these things for hours is to learn and strengthen your willpower. You are getting absolutely nothing out of your fasting if you break your fast, Allahu Akbar, and you're smoking your cigarette or you're going back to your old habits and whatnot. Absolutely nothing. Imam Ali alayhi salam, he says, كَم مِّن صَائِمٍ, I mentioned this hadith, كَم مِّن صَائِمٍ لَيْسَ لَهُ مِن صِيَامِهِ إِلَّا الْجُوعُ وَالظَّمَأُ. How many times have you come across people who are fasting and they are getting nothing out of their fasting except for being hungry and thirsty, and someone saying to them, Namazu ruzi qabul, that's it. Nothing other than that. Where are the Garnawis today, by the way? Ops? Are they ops as well? That's really bad, isn't it? Not soccer, but soccer's very bad. Soccer's 100% bad and evil, but it's really bad that unfortunately we have this overall assumption that we're doing good, but we're not doing good at all, because we're still obsessed with food, we're still obsessed with our lust, we're still cannot control our tongue. We still, unfortunately, have a problem with our eyes roaming around and seeing things that they shouldn't be seeing. We're still only thinking about money and nothing other than that. All of these damaging traits. Where's your fasting gone then? What are you benefiting? What are you getting out of that? Which is exactly why, if you are doing something right and you are meeting the correct requirements for what it is that you are doing, you're going to be living the best life. Comfortable? No, no one will be comfortable. If it was the case that God makes a believer comfortable, he would have made Imam Hussein comfortable, and Imam Hussein wasn't comfortable. It's not a matter of comfortable. It's a matter of serenity. It's a matter of you saying, I have absolutely no problem tomorrow dying, and I will be more than ready. There's a hadith that says, Salli salata mawaddi'. Yani every single time you pray like as if you are a mawaddi'. Yani you are bidding farewell. Yani this is the last salah that you are performing on earth. How many of us do that? Let's import English. It's very sad. So it's a matter of serenity and inner peace and calmness, tama'nina, that you are going to have. Which is exactly why man amila salihan. Look at this ayah. Bismillah ar-Rahman ar-Rahim. Man amila salihan. Whoever does good. Min dhakarin wa untha. Male or female. Alhamdulillah, we have our heads well screwed onto our bodies. We know our direction. We're not being distracted by all this rubbish that's happening around in society. We know that laysa dhakaru kal untha, that we have two genders and only two, not 77. That we don't need to apologize to someone who has a long lihya and say, oh, sorry, I misgendered you. I called you sir, but you identify as a they, them. We don't have this kind of rubbish. But be careful. Go on social media and you'll see his name is Ali. Between brackets, he, him. Speak into shunu, what, like, is that, are you, what do they call it? Clout? Clout? Is that what they call it? You a clout? Is that the right word? Clout chaser? Did I use it in the right context here? See, I'm catching up on you guys, man. See? I'm catching up. It's not good. I've said it's not good a lot tonight, haven't I? I don't usually say that. Probably because I don't have the presentation on and I'm used to that here. There's no need for you to, try to, assimilate into today's kind of like trend and think that that's going to get you confirmation and approval from other people. No, that's not. Stick to your principles, stick to your values. Doesn't matter what the circumstance may be. Right? Man amila salihan min dhakarin wa untha. Whoever does a righteous deed, male or female. Wa huwa mu'min, and they are a believer. فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. We will give them a pleasant life. طيب. Are you Rida Mayahi? We will give them a pleasant life. فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُمْ. We will make them live. فَلَنُحْيِيَنَّهُمْ حَيَاةً طَيِّبَةً. This hayat is, of course, conditional on someone being alive, awake, alert. What does one hadith say? Al-nasu niyam. What's that mean? People are sleeping. Al-nasu niyam. فَإِذَا مَاتُوا انتبهوا. And it's only when they die, they come to realize that, oh wow, I just missed out on all of these things. Why does that need to be you? And falling into this system, which is a very secular system, a non-religious system, if we could say an anti-religious system. You're someone who believes that there is a purpose in life, who has values, who has heritage, who comes from a good family, who has principles, who has an unchanged holy book, which every single word is beyond any doubt the word of your Creator. You're not going to be left for any kind of hesitation. Then what's the problem? Why are you going left and right? Because you're not going through those stages of self-discipline like Mr. Iceman. Huh? Shisma? What? Whitaker? Tate? Hif or Huff? All right. Anyway, Huff. Three stages. Very simple. Very simple. Stage one is tazkiyah, purifying yourself. Stage two is takhliyah. And stage three is tahliyah. This, of course, needs a lot of explanation. But tazkiyah basically means purifying, cleansing yourself. Tahliyah means removing, excreting. That's why in Arabic we say Baytul Khala. For a plumber, what do they call a plumber in Farsi? Who knows? Shuf hada. Yom Haq Ibrahim. Kind of. They say Takhliya Chah. Have you heard that word before? Who said yes? Takhliya Chah. Takhliya Chah means kind of like it's similar to what a plumber does, but it's a part of a plumber where they come and they have to empty and vacate the, what's his names? Takhliya. Baytul Khala. Khala means, of course, Baytul Khala means the place where you relieve yourself, where you remove those excess things. So Takhliyah here is also the same thing, that you get rid of your bad habits, your bad traits. Your bad traits. You know that you lie sometimes, stop it. You know that you wrong other people and yourselves sometimes, stop it. You know that you do injustice, stop it. You know that you are, in many cases or in some cases, scared of things, a coward. What did we say it was in Arabic? Jibin? Jubn. Right? All these things, you get rid of them. And then tahliyah. Tahliyah means to adorn from, of course, huli, or from huli, which means to adorn, right? To adorn yourself, to beautify yourself with good qualities and good traits. That is, of course, very, very important. It all comes down to your jihadun nafs that you have to go through, which of course is based on doing simple things that you need to do. You pray, you make sure that you always pray on time. You make sure that you never wrong other people. You make sure that when it comes to something like fasting, you look at what are the areas of how I can better my fast quality-wise, because you're always looking towards getting better and better and better. And you look for a sadiq who is saduq. Remember when we spoke about sidq and truthfulness, and we said that in Arabic we say sadiq because it comes from the same root word of sa, dal and qaf, sidq. Because a friend is always going to be truthful to you, is always going to pull you up and say, hey, stop what you're doing. You're going down the right path. Dir balik min hadha. He's no good. Rafiqa, chimigand, rafiqa, na, bab, as they say. Ab? Ab means water, man. Where are you going into? Ab anar? It's very relevant to what we're talking about. Huh? Yeah. Ali? Yeah. Friends influence you consciously and subconsciously. The people who you surround yourself with are going to have the biggest impact on you. Why do you think it's so important for you to make sure that you clean your circle of friends? And if you know that this person is bad news, get rid of them. Get rid of them. Maybe not instantly, if you can't, you're scared of some backlash or something, but just gradually wean yourself away from them. And lastly, because this, of course, this friend is going to always be honest to you and truthful to you. And lastly, make sure that you regularly participate in religious programs wherever they may be, especially here in Australia. We all need it. We all need it. We all need to participate in programs, in lessons, in Salatul Jama'ah, in dua. We all need to do that. Yes, you're more happy at home, sitting down in your pajamas, doing what you want to do. Maybe in a lot of cases, you're also probably listening to lectures on YouTube and things like that. No one is saying otherwise, but it's socializing and interacting and being with people that's really, really going to have a positive impact on you. Lastly, from Imam As-Sadiq alayhi salam, he says, "Man malaka nafsahu idha raghab." When you control or master yourself when it is interested and desiring of something. Wa idha rahab, or when it is scared of something. Wa idha ishtaha, or when it, is desiring something, for example. Wa idha ghadab, or when it gets angry. Yani you are mastering and controlling yourself when it wants something, when it's angry, when it feels like having something to eat, mathalan, or when it's scared. Wa idha radiya, and also when it's content. حرم الله جسده على النار. If you are mastering and controlling yourself in every single aspect of your nafs, Allah will prohibit your body from entering hellfire. May Allah subhanahu wa ta'ala keep us on the right path, keep us guided through His name and through the memory of Ahlul Bayt alayhimus salam. And a reminder, my brothers and sisters, to make sure that in the forthcoming nights you are also actively participating in the programs, the martyrdom anniversary of Imam Ali alayhi salam. Tomorrow will be the birthday of Imam al-Mujtaba. Then you've got Layal al-Qadr as well, inshallah, wherever you attend the programs. And inshallah, I will see you all back again for Eid al-Fitr, inshallah, here. And then we will carry on with our regular programs on Friday nights. Wa akhiru da'wana and alhamdulillahi rabbil alameen. Wassalatu wassalamu ala Sayyidina Muhammad wa alihi tahirin.